I want to discuss with you guys tonight what it means to be conscious. Consciousness, most simply put, is a physiological state of being awake and aware. But it is also a condition, one that is far more complicated and convoluted than that simple definition suggests. Our consciousness is what governs how we perceive, how we interpret, how we interact with the world around us. It grants us freedom of thought to think however critically or abstractly. It is what allows us to contemplate our own existence. But that is what it does. So my question is this: what is human consciousness? Over the course of my undergraduate career here at Gallatin, I studied creative mediums, which is a term I use to identify those things that shape, reshape, and even misshape our experience of the human world. These things exist as one of three forms, the written word, the visual image, and spoken language, but may combine to form any hybridized version of these three things. I believe that these things, these mediums, can effectively bridge the divide between physical, mental, and even virtual worlds. And where those worlds converge, where they link together, I believe is in the mind. I believe that our uncanny ability to move through these worlds is a most human trait, attributable only to the unique power of human consciousness. So again, what is human consciousness? How does it work? And where is it? The brain? On a morning in 1996, 37-year-old Jill Bolte Taylor woke to a pulsating pain in her head. She moved to the bathroom, where she became shaky and confused, and in the moments that followed, she had what she now describes as a mystical, metaphysical experience. She suffered a stroke. But while her brain was hemorrhaging, Taylor was able to remain calm. She focused her mind on her body and let herself simply observe. Taylor has since published a book, A Stroke of Insight, wherein she recounts the details of this experience. In one passage, she says, "I found it odd that I was aware that I could no longer clearly discern the physical boundaries of where I began and where I ended. Instead, I now blended in with the space and flow around me." Taylor's stroke sounds strangely psychedelic. To many, it sounds like an LSD trip. But Taylor has found surprising comparisons between these two experiences. As she explains, both essentially shut down certain brain circuitries while activating others, the effects of which are a distorted sense of time and an altered awareness of the body. Now, the only difference between these two experiences is the duration of the trip. LSD lasts maybe 12 hours, or so they say. Her trip lasted 8 years, and during that time, she underwent various therapies in an effort to repair the damage caused by the stroke. She made a full recovery, which she attributes to her excellent understanding of the human brain. Taylor is a neuroanatomist, and she's also a TED talker. But the most interesting part of Taylor's story is that she is able to pinpoint from her stroke the moment that her brain made a shift in cognition, a point at which she seemed to access a new world. No longer was she experiencing the moment firsthand, but rather she was experiencing from a place slightly removed. And she writes, "As the language centers in my left hemisphere grew increasingly silent, my consciousness soared into an all-knowingness, of being at one with the universe." Here, Taylor's consciousness made an unexpected move. It actually detached from her brain and moved to a place outside her body. We have always thought of consciousness as an invisible entity, as something that exists as a function of, and is therefore functionally limited by, the physicality of the human brain. Yet here we have an account of a conscious mind being capable of working independently from the brain. This may not be so implausible. Right now, an international coalition of scientists, physicians, and scholars are conducting a series of inquiries into this issue. It's called the Human Consciousness Project, or HCP. And in recent years, a number of scientific studies completed by HCP researchers have shown this relationship between body and mind, or consciousness and brain, to be partly severed. According to these reports, as many as 10 to 20% of individuals who undergo and survive cardiac arrest report lucid well-structured memories of their episodes. What makes these experiences remarkable, cites one HCP representative, is that while studies of the brain during cardiac arrest have consistently shown there to be no brain activity during that period, these individuals report detailed perceptions that appear to indicate the presence of a high level of consciousness, even in the absence of measurable brain activity. The working hypothesis on which HCP operates then is that human consciousness may in fact function at a time when the clinical criteria for death are fully present and the brain has actually ceased functioning. In other words, this research suggests that the human mind may live on even after bodily death. Right now, too little is known or understood about the ontology of the human mind to make any further conclusions. And the question remains if we could ever come to understand ourselves through our own minds. But what we can take away from Jill Bolte Taylor and the researchers at HCP is that human consciousness is a biological phenomenon. It is a condition. It moves about and beyond our bodies, always present, but ever elusive, hidden in some dimension of our minds. Thank you.